Sometimes, what we dismiss as childhood nightmares might hide something far more sinister. Truths we're not ready to face. When nightmares intersect reality, our past can become more terrifying than fiction.
Have you ever felt unseen eyes watching you in the dark? Welcome to Nightfall Crypt, where shadows whisper, the unknown lingers, and every story is waiting for you to listen, if you dare.
I don't believe in ghosts now, but I did for a long time due to something that happened when I was a child. It was the early 1970s, and my family lived in a small house nestled quietly in a rural neighborhood in Canoga Park, California. I was about 5 years old, young enough for imagination to blur with reality, yet old enough to clearly remember that night. I awoke abruptly, the quiet of the house interrupted only by the distant chirp of crickets and the soft hum of my parents' breathing in the adjacent room. The familiar urge pressed against my bladder, pulling me from the safety of bed toward the bathroom. Groggy yet alert, I slipped from beneath the sheets, padding softly across the cool floor. Between my bedroom and the bathroom, there was a small passage that opened directly into our living room, usually filled with the comforting glow of the street lamp outside. Tonight, it was unnaturally dark, cloaked in shadow. As I stood there, still partially hidden behind the doorway, my eyes adjusted, and I froze. There, in the living room, figures moved silently and fluidly in the darkness. Tall and human-sized, perhaps 5 to 10 of them, they glided around with unsettling grace. They were not my parents. I recognized neither their silhouettes nor their movements. My pulse quickened, fear trickling coldly down my spine. The figures touched the furniture lightly, their fingertips grazing surfaces, exploring, invading our home without a sound. I knew instinctively I shouldn't make a noise. Barely breathing, I retreated quietly, backtracking into my room and pulling the covers tightly around me. I squeezed my eyes shut, wishing the strange sight away. For years, the memory haunted me vividly. Unlike dreams, it refused to fade, always lurking at the edges of consciousness, quietly mocking my rationalizations. Eventually, I convinced myself that it must have been just a vivid dream, a child's imagination running wild in the dark. Ghosts weren't real. I had to move beyond such childish fears. Decades passed, and skepticism replaced belief. Until one day, by chance, I stumbled upon a book. Helter Skelter, the grim account of the Charles Manson murders and his eerie cult family. As I read, my blood turned icy. The book recounted their bizarre habit, something they chillingly called creepy crawling, sneaking silently into homes at night, rearranging objects slightly, simply to terrify without stealing or causing obvious damage. My mind spiraled as I realized something unnerving. In the early 70s, the infamous Manson family had lived at Spahn Ranch, only 5 miles from our modest home in Canoga Park. Could those silent intruders I witnessed as a child have been the Manson family themselves? Ghosts suddenly felt comforting in comparison to this new tangible terror. My rational mind fought the conclusion, yet the memory was disturbingly precise. Too vivid for a simple dream, too surreal for imagination alone. Now, as an adult, I still grapple with this haunting uncertainty. Could it truly have been them, standing mere feet from my bedroom door, their fingertips grazing the belongings of my sleeping family. Or did my childhood fears simply paint a dream vivid enough to endure a lifetime? The truth remains elusive, floating somewhere between nightmare and reality, leaving a chilling question. What really stood in my living room that night?
And so, the shadows stretch further, and the mystery only deepens. But this is far from the end. It's merely the beginning. What lingers beyond the door? Who is whispering your name? And what is that shifting in the corner of your eye? The answers await in the next chapter of these chilling tales. Subscribe to Nightfall Crypt and hit the notification bell, because the crypt's secrets are endless and the darkness never sleeps. Until next time, stay in the light